Alright, so I don't know if you can see, but I'm planting through this brome grass and orchard grass and fescue. That's what's out here. Going about 4.5 miles an hour to make sure that my drill cuts through it nicely. The ground is perfect for what I'm doing right now. It just definitely has the right amount of moisture. It definitely has a decent aggregate to it. These fields are kind of small down in here, but we have an extraordinarily large population of coyotes down in this area. I have not seen one deer down here. And this is normally where you'll chase deer out all the time. And for the last few years, the deer population has just disappeared. The neighbor up the road, he's got soybeans in on another farm. There's probably 60, 70 acres up there. And I don't even see deer there. So I feel pretty safe about putting the soybeans in here. Like I said in the video that I posted yesterday or the day before, that I would definitely be putting on a calcium product, liquid calcium. The secret sauce that I use has calcium, magnesium, and other things in it. And, you know, it's just really good product for what I'm doing on the soybeans, more or less than the corn. And that will be foliar applied. Hold on, I got a phone call. Okay, so good morning. Yeah, you get to watch me and my wife do dangerous operations loading this drill because I don't have the fancy pants grain cart that, or the seed cart that you can fill your grain drill, corn planter, and all that stuff up with efficiently and safely. Might have to look into one of those. I mean, if the things that I'm doing start to pay off and I have an abundance of cash in my pocket at the end of the year, which, you know, we're farmers, we are all hopeful. Always hopeful that that's going to be the case, but we're not really sure right now. I'm looking at soybean prices. September beans, 1743 or some damn thing for not, yeah, was that September? Was that, yeah, September, no, September, maybe September beans are 1550. Today's beans are 17 something, but December beans are up. So that's not going to do me any favors. Honestly, I'm going to just go ahead and sell them right out of the field. There's just no need for me to hang on to them. I have no way of storing them because I just don't have the bin space. I'll be putting the beans in the bin and then hauling out of the bin on the rainy days when I can't harvest the beans, or I'll be putting wheat in. I'll probably have Teresa running wheat. And if that's the case, if me and Tim are combining or you know, combining beans or picking corn or shelling corn, Teresa's going to be running that grain drill. And probably wouldn't hurt to have one of those fancy pants, what do you call them, those grain or seed carts. Anyway, with that being said, this is very dangerous. I don't like doing it. Don't trust the loaders and stuff to do. Well, I trust the loaders enough that I'll be okay. But it just, in the terrible event that these hydraulic hose fails and falls down and kills us both. So, you know, it's never a good thing. But I would like to say that this is the last soybeans that I'm planting this year. We are just finishing up. The grain drill has worked beautifully. Anybody that's looking to rebuild a 750 drill, one of the first serial number ones, these things can be rebuilt effectively and with, you know, very effectively with a little ingenuity like what I did to reproduce this thing, you know, because John Deere does not support the row units for the early 750s. You have to wait till the second serial number batch, you know, you have the first serial number, then the first break, and the second break in the serial numbers. They only support the later two serial numbers. Yeah, see, I'm reaching under there. Boy, that just is crazy. And she's yelling at me for something, right? Nah, she's just talking to me. She's saying, how could you put me out there online with my titties hanging out? Anyway, these can be repaired efficiently. You just got to know what you're doing and use your brain a little bit. Now, I completely rebuilt this entire drill for around, what did I say, about $13,000, without my time. Now, if I had added my time in, you'd have added another $5,000-$6,000 to that. So just say, for gits and shiggles, it's $18,000 to $20,000 to completely rebuild your grain drill with Neatomag V8 firming wheels and the Neatomag disc openers. Those were expensive, but they are a boron-infused steel. And let me tell you something. Those things are sharp. They wear sharp. They cut that hay like it's a piece of paper to scissors. I mean, that is just insane how sharp those things are. And it really does put the seed where it belongs. There's no seed laying on top of the ground except on the end rows where you pick up the drill and a few dribble out. That's it. I mean, every once in a while you'll have them pop forward and you'll see one on the ground, but that's just inherent for these drills. Those controlled spilled meters are, controlled spilled meters are just, that's the way they work. They pinch it out. Boy, me and her are in an intense conversation, aren't we? Wow. Anyway, so today's the last day. Well, I think I've got maybe 15, 20 acres to do yet. I got 25 acres to do yet. And that's it. That's the end. If there's any seed left in the drill, we're going to sweep it down in there and plant it back over onto the field. And that'll be the end of that. So, and I hope that that's the end of the, that's it. I hope everything comes up and grows really well. I do have some spraying to do. I'm caught up on corn. I did have an issue with the spray on the corn. Because I'm planting through all that hay and I didn't roll it down, the hay held the herbicide and the corn was coming through the ground and we got rain. And what happened then was the rain actually, the herbicide that I sprayed, the rain carried the herbicide onto the corn that was coming through the ground and it burned it. It turned it yellow.
God, that's a she-male.
Oh, stop. My wife is just a pain in the neck sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
That's it. What do you mean, she-male?
Look at look at my arms.
You do realize you're interrupting my...
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you want to talk, you can. I mean, you can say, I am the sexiest thing on that drill. Right?
No.
You could say that.
No.
It would be fun. Yeah, I'd say so. I'd bend you right over that box and, slap your ass. Oh, ow. You hitting me for? God, I can't even talk around here. I'm an abused male. Come on, Amber. Amber Heard. Oh my God. So anyway, this is a slower process. Yes, it would be a lot easier to do a seed cart, but whatever. We made it through. There's over 500 acres on that drill. And there's over 500 acres on that drill. We replanted about 90. I'm going to say about 90. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe there might be 100 acres on a replant. So there's like 500. Well, I'll look today and I'll subtract 125 because Timmy Cornpicker, he planted 25 acres with the drill. I had the drill ready. It broke. Timothy took it over to the field and the stupid rock shaft broke. No big deal. We welded it back together again. I will be sleeving that or replacing that tube with a heavier tube. But he did get his seed in the ground and life is good that way. So we have to subtract his 25 acres or so off, and that'll give us a pretty accurate number as to how many acres of soybeans we got in the ground. I'm looking at 400. It's probably 450 acres. I don't want to say probably. It definitely is 450 acres because in the last 2 days we've planted, well, let's see. We've planted about 100, and by the end of today, it'll be 100 and It'll be 125 acres. So we're probably closer to 470 acres of soybeans in the ground. 450, 470, which is about where I expected to be with these beans. And now it's going to be the fight to the deer fight, which isn't going to be too big of a problem, I don't believe, because I'm going to be using a product. I'm going to try and get this product maybe today, and it's called Penergetic V, Penergetic B, and it is Penergetic B WV, field protection from intruding wildlife. And I've heard there's people that have commented on here that this stuff works. Now, I used fish fertilizer a few years back when I was growing beans, and the fish worked really good the first year. But then the second year, it didn't work worth a shit. It just didn't work. The deer got used to the smell, they got used to the flavor of it, and the beans did really good, but the deer just played hell on them. And, I'm thinking about getting a couple of totes of fish, liquid fish, and mixing it with my secret sauce in a combination, because the guy that I got that I learned about the secret sauce from, he has added fish to it, and he has taken pictures of what his soybeans and corn look like with liquid fish and secret sauce. And he cut the rate of secret sauce by half and added the other half as the liquid fish. So it really, apparently, it really works good, because the secret sauce that I'm using has calcium in it, magnesium in it, zinc in it, iron in it. And with those ingredients, and they are a foliar applied thing, so you can put it right on the soil, or you can put it foliar, which foliar is very important if you have sickly beans, if you've got a problem with your soybeans not doing well or running well, growing well, or even if you do have them growing well. I would rather have lodged beans than beans that were 10 inches tall. That's just my opinion. I'm getting close to canopy with the first beans that I put in. The beans that were burnt by the Callisto, there is Callisto, residual Callisto from last year, and that spray tank that I put on where I had to plant corn. And I'm going to go over there this morning and take a look at that corn, because it ought to be coming through the ground. Timothy sprayed, put the nitrogen down to it, and I'm not going to terminate the soybeans. I'm not going to terminate those soybeans, at least not now. Maybe not ever, because what's happening with those soybeans is they're burnt, right? They are burnt. They're probably never going to produce what they're not going to produce what you think they would produce. The corn is going to take up the nitrogen that I applied. We applied 160 units of nitrogen, but those soybeans, they had good nodulation on them. Nodulation, Nodgulation, right? Nodulation. Had good nodulation on them, even though I burnt the upper part of them, the green part of them. But that corn will feed off of the nitrogen that the soybeans are putting out. And so I'm not going to terminate those beans. I'm just going to let them grow right up into that corn. They will not be a weed, because as the corn grows, the corn will go to the nodules and tap into that nitrogen that those things are producing. And they will produce a soybean, but I'm not worried about that. Let those beans do their thing. They can fall back onto the ground and become next year's fertilizer. We'll be putting wheat in there when I get that corn and beans off of there. So at least that's the plan. I want to have an even rotation of corn, soybeans, and wheat, and have the cover crops in between each cash crop. Rye between corn and soybeans. Soybeans would be wheat, and then after wheat, a multi-species cover crop going into corn. And that's just the plan. The mushroom growers have really dealt us a blow really honestly dealt us a blow, and I think they're going to regret it. At least on my end, they're going to regret it, because I'm going to pull probably 5,000 tons of material out of their. As a matter of fact, it is going to be 5,000 tons out of their grass, because I took my best ground out of production, of hay production, and put it into row crop production. And that's the long, the short, and the center of it. That's how it's going to go. And what I really like to do is on a fourth rotation is to actually put Timothy in. Timothy hay crop. Timothy really produces a lot of material. You can get 4.5 tons of Timothy off of an acre of ground if you play your cards right. And if I can do corn, beans, wheat, and then a fall Timothy crop, like put a cover in after the wheat along with a Timothy hay crop, the following year it will be Timothy, a good crop of Timothy. So and then go back into hay for big bales. Big square bales of Timothy hay can fetch like $350, $400 a ton. And that's where I'm going to be going on that route. There's just the best, to me, that's just the best option to continue in the hay business. I like doing hay. I'm really happy doing corn. Not so happy about the soybeans because it's going to be a bit of a fight, but I'm happy about the corn. And soybeans will be fine. We'll do all right. Me and Teresa are going to get onto this, and we're a team, and we're going to work together, and we're going to, as you can see right here, she didn't kill me, but yeah, no. And the little guy is right there. Did you see that? He's such a funny little man. So anyway, yeah. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this live chit chat as I'm watching this thing, or a voiceover as we call them, or whatever you want to call them. And just have a great day, and be well. Be well, as Lord Muck says.